All right, nice deep drop here. I think it's down to about 105 feet or so to the bottom of this wreck. This video was early season, so a lot of the standard kind of target species aren't in season just yet. So no grouper, amberjacks, or red snapper. We were just kind of getting our early season work in, trying to shoot some mangrove snappers, some porgy, any pelagic fish that we could find. So, nice clean day. Visibility is not typically this clear in this spot. This is in North Florida here. But yeah, so end up pulling the trigger at about 103 feet on this really nice porgy. If you've never had porgy before, it's a very underrated table fare. Super white meat. Believe I ended up making this one into, I think, like half poke, half sashimi. It's really good table fare. But yeah, that was a nice deep drop. Working my way back to the surface. Good time. Alright, another diving day here on a different wreck, about 80-ish feet to the sand. Again, still early season, so really just focusing on the mangrove snappers. Some really big ones on this wreck once you kind of get down into some of these holes. We had shot a couple already. Quite a few bull sharks kind of hanging out on this wreck, which is pretty typical for this part of Florida. It's really not too bad if you can, once you shoot the fish, actually get it to you, or if you can stone it, you can typically land it. However, this video goes a little awry here, and I end up trying to line up on this mangrove, and I try to stone it as best I can. Obviously, I didn't, and that bull shark swoops in for the kill. I was trying to pull in my body, but that shark was a little bold, so I just let it ride. Anyways, next drop here is a different day. It's a tugboat wreck, actually, slightly shallower, and we, as I'm descending, I actually swim right into a nurse shark, which is kind of funny. So this was the opening day of red snapper. So after I bumped that nurse shark, I look up. Water's kind of murky, like I said, North Florida. Not the cleanest water, but pop this red snapper, and as I'm going to grab it, it's trying to get into that wreck. These two big Goliaths swim up to me, and they wanted to take a bite out of that red snapper, but got it away from them and got to land it. Alright, we're diving after some mangrove snapper. In this clip, we're in about 65 feet of water to the sand, diving on some of these pretty cool fish modules. They got those shelves like you can kind of see initially there on my right hand side. A lot of these mangrove snapper like to hide in that. All three of these fish modules were holding some good ones. I believe on that day we actually ended up limiting out, which is 8 mangrove snapper per person. I think we had 3 shooters out here. So really good day. They're a lot of fun to hunt once you get kind of belly down there. Grouper grunt, call for them, dust sand, anything that can kind of get their attention and allow you to line up a shot. I think on that one I just ended up shooting them underneath there. In a lot of these videos you're going to see me secure that fish, and really, as I said before, the reason it just really increases your chance from landing that fish and decreases the chance of a shark getting a little bit more excited than he needs to be. Once I get to the surface here, you'll see my dive buddy. That's going to be my safety there, making sure I'm alright. Since these mangrove snapper were set to go be dinner for that week, I'm going to go ahead and brain and bleed that fish. If you've never bled a fish before, there's a little membrane right behind that gill plate. You just got to run your knife up against it and break that membrane, and you'll get a lot of the blood out of those fillets. That's a picture from once red snapper season had opened. This dive is kind of a funny one. This is once red snapper season was in full swing here. Towards the end of the day, I'd actually just shot a pretty decent sized red snapper on this wreck. I think we're in about 65-ish, 70 feet of water, and my buddy had seen a big shark chase the red snapper that I'd shot. I'd landed the red snapper, no issues, but he had seen a big shark kind of chasing it. I did not. So it's my turn to dive again. I went down there and looked up, and boom, this big bull shark scared me about as much as I scared him. So make my way back to the surface, and we ended up changing spots because he got a little bit more fired up in some later dives. But yeah, still a good day. Another mangrove snapper dive here on those fish modules. Just a fun dive. They're like I said, they're really fun fish to hunt. You can kind of see how curious they get here in this video. It's a good example. I'll kind of poke out, take a look at you, and then try to go back inside there. Any spot they got some cover. That was a pretty decent sized one there. I tried to stone him, but obviously did not. He tries to wrap my line in there. I didn't get a great shot on him. Ended up hitting him a little lower than I wanted to, so I kind of babied him up to me so that he didn't rip off the end of my shaft there. Try to get a hold of him and get him to the surface as best I can. Still a good fish. Like I said, a lot of fun. As per usual, get in there, go ahead and knock out that brain and that bleed. Really makes a huge difference on those fillets. Pretty cool dive. This was during red snapper season. Diving some of these artificial reefs again. A little bit deeper here. I think they were about 75 to 80 feet to the sand. Almost unintentionally swim directly into that artificial reef, which is not good. But a lot of these red snapper, they'll see you descend and they get real curious. They don't know what you're doing. They swim in from the sand and come to check you out, see what you are. Almost line up on that one, but he was just a little small, just a little far. And luckily I waited, and a nicer one came in there. Ended up landing the shot. Kind of a far shot. They were pretty cagey on this specific spot. I think we had already shot one or two in that area. Again, did not stone him, obviously. So worked my way to the surface, kind of keeping some tension on him, not allowing him to get wedged inside of that reef, one of those holes. And then once you get to the surface, you're going to want to immediately start trying to rip that guy up, because a dangling red snapper is like ringing the dinner bell for some of these sharks. So, good fish. All right, another dive on one of these wrecks out here. I think it's about 80 feet to the sand, and where I end up stopping, I don't know, somewhere in the 70-foot range or so on this deck. Really fishy spot. It was still during red snapper season. I see a good sized one kind of off in the distance, but wasn't able to close the gap on him, and he was acting a little cagey. End up shooting one of these good sized mangrove snapper instead as a consolation prize. But man, super cool dive. Just look how fishy it is. Just so awesome and blessed to be out here. Alright, end up shooting a really good red snapper on this dive. Again, in that 80-ish foot range. We're actually down current of a wreck. It's like I was saying, a lot of times these red snapper, they'll hang out in the sand. They're not always necessarily directly on that wreck, so you can kind of see the outline of the wreck during that descent and off in the distance there. And these fish, they'll come up and try to see what you are. So once you get down there, for whatever reason, they always like to come up behind you. In this case, though, this one was directly to my front, and he was actually a really big red snapper. Came up there, kind of went quartering towards me, just turned off to the side, and ended up getting a good shot on him. He was good size. Took some drag out. I tried to put a little pressure on him to keep him out of that wreck, but I wasn't going to get him to the surface on that same dive. So got up as quickly as I could so I could kind of wrestle him away from any kind of predators. But really good fish. Cool dive. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got plenty of footage coming, so stay tuned.